Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Okay, we're back. No, you're not the first. You're actually the third person. You are not the first. It's okay. You don't have to be the first. Uh, okay. Let's do this. Okay, maybe this is better. Okay, we do a general Q&A then. It's been a while since I did one of these general ones. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. We were just live, by the way. And we were live on which day? Saturday or Sunday we were live. So you're just not keeping up. You have to keep up. I don't get notifications when you go live. I don't know. You need to turn your notification on or something like that. Maybe YouTube hates you or hates me, or hates both of us. These are all possibilities, Other than that, I do not know. Is this live? What do you think? Does it say live or does it not say live? Where do you see the previous live stream? It's there in the playlist. Go on the channel, click playlist. You'll find all of the other tafsir classes on there. All of the other Muslim Q&As and tafsir classes, they're there. If you just go to the channel and go to playlist. Okay, are we going to have questions about the stream, or we going to have actual questions, Can you explain jarh and ta'dil? Well, jarh is to criticize and ta'dil is to say someone is trustworthy. It's as simple as that. So in Islamic history, there are people who are narrating narrations, and in communities, there were scholars or ulama who were praised, who were known of their religion, they're known of their akhlaq, they are known of they're known to be respected in the community. And then the people who were not trustworthy, they were also known not to be trustworthy. So there were ulama who would criticize an individual to be a liar, for example. So that's called jarh. You criticize him. And or ta'dil, they will praise a specific sheikh or alim or imam or a narrator, right? It was this idea of jarh or ta'dil mainly was used is for hadith. It's to preserve the narrations, right? It's to make sure, okay, if the person is a liar, then to be careful from what he's narrating. He's a liar, we don't accept his narration. It's not reliable. And ta'dil, when you say this person is reliable, trustworthy, therefore we can take religion from him. We can take narrations from him. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Allah yahdina wa yahdik. Jazakallah khair. May Allah Azza Jal forgive us, man, and forgive you and make us better. This beard question, I think you should check the previous live streams because I've answered it many times before. Add music to the stream? Who's asking that? If he wants to be kicked out somewhere else, Why, you think this is like a disco? I'm going to start dancing for you or something, or what? Add music to the stream, he says. You should say my voice is music to your ears, man. What are you talking about? Okay. Can I use a prayer? I don't know what that is. You have to explain what that is. Again, I don't know what that is as well. I don't know why you guys get into all of these different complicated things in the banks, and you do not stay just in basic things which are halal, and you stay to them. Can you explain Allah khairul makirin? It means Allah is the best of planners. There's nothing to explain there. If someone is plotting, Allah Azza wa Jal is the best of planners. So you cannot plot against Allah Azza wa Jal. Cannot plot against the all-knowing. Do you follow a madhab? Well, I follow the madhab of not your guys' business, This is the madhab I follow. Follow the madhab of the Prophet ﷺ saying it's from the perfection of someone's religion, leaving that which is not of his business. That is the best madhab to follow. Can you make a video about Imam Mahdi? No, why do I need to make a video about Imam Mahdi? Where is the need for that? Because it's entertainment for the people and they like to hear all of these uh, theories. Oh, the end of the world is going to be 2023. Oh, we're already in 2024. And this is what you want, these conspiracy theories that people make without any evidence from the Quran and Sunnah as if they know what's going to happen. I've not taken my Shahada. How do I deal with my concerns of doubt within my mind? I do not want to be a hypocrite. I'm worried about my mind, no external influences. Thank you for your work. Well, it depends what you mean by doubts. But if there's questions, these questions can be answered. And through research, you'll come to the conclusion. On top of that, the most important thing is to ask God for guidance, because God is the one who can settle someone's hearts, and to understand that it's not your mind cannot necessarily understand everything. But what matters is there evidence this is from God or not? If there is evidence this is from God, it's irrelevant if I understand every teaching and detail of it, because I'm not God, right? And I've already established this revelation. So why am I doubting every single detail of what it teaches? The people who will doubt every single detail are those who would not accept it or believe them. Could you please explain praying sunnah after salah in the same position? Yeah, the ulama said it's better if you stand and you move. You can pray in the same place. It's not haram if you pray in the same place you prayed. But standing and moving a little bit, and the reason for the moving is just like so you change the position from the fard to the sunnah, that you were doing fard and now no one's thinking you're praying anymore. You're moving now. You're praying sunnah, right? So yeah, it's a small issue, inshallah. Please give us advice translating Rahik Makhtoum. We are pointing the weak hadith in the footnotes has so many. We are using. Well, what advice are you asking for? And plus, you guys are saying you're doing a translation of the Quran, you're doing a Rahik. Shouldn't be doing everything together, focus on one project and take things step by step. خلاص? And if there are many, something weak, then put that weak and why it's weak. But you could be thinking something is weak that scholars disagree upon that is not necessarily weak. Also, there's always alternatives like other narrations which are stronger that convey the same meaning or similar to it. Try to put something like that also in the footnotes, not just saying something is weak, but also putting something that is similar to it, or the most authentic narration that gives the same story. But the criteria of authentic as well, it's not the same for Sirah as it is for Hadith. There's a lot more leniency. So what you should highlight is the problematic aspects, the problematic parts. We're not telling you everything mentioned there. Apply the science of Hadith to it. Sirah and Hadith is not the same thing. But we're talking about the problematic things that are mentioned that are weak. You have to highlight that these things are weak. They're not correct. Hey, I have a question about this. Why don't you say your question? You're just asking a question to ask a question. There's no point of doing that. Asking your question will save us time. Can you cut your hair as a woman, please? Yeah, you can cut your hair. As long as you don't cut it to look like a man or something. You start doing a fade, you know, like these LGBT rainbow people, yeah. So I hope you're not talking about that. So just naturally, just like shortening the hair a little bit is fine, no problem. It's permissible, obviously. How the hadith talks about fly wings and correspondent study validates it. Do you fly wings? What fly wings are you talking about, brother? Just put the hadith. I don't know what you're talking about, honestly. Fly wings that you're talking about. Can you please share your insights? My insights is that you should stop trying to do what you're trying to do, because it's not going to happen. You're just wasting your time. That's my insight. I hope it was beneficial for you. So best way to deal with my mind is to continue learning more about Islam and to consider the doubts in my mind to be the whispering of jinn. Well, you continue to learn is just also wasting time. It's just, did you learn enough to know this is from God or not? That's what you need to know. Once you reach the point and you know, okay, this is enough evidence that this is from God, then you should accept Islam, not continue to learn. That's also wasting time. You should reach the level in which you know this is from God, this is evidence, this is from God, and then you should take the step and accept it. And then while you practice Islam, that will also shield you from the whispers of Satan. What's the main sign of a munafiq? Well, I recommend you go watch the tafsir class, in which second or third tafsir class, where we spoke about verses of the munafiqun, the actions of the munafiqun, the attributes of the munafiqun in detail. Yeah, if you actually want to know that, you are welcome to go watch that class. Hello, brother. Is it permissible to love your wife who is a Christian, and so is it permissible to love a Kafir? Yes, it's permissible to love your wife who is a Christian, but this is not love for religion. There are different types of love that Sheikh al-Islam ibn al-Qayyim mentioned. And there's one types of them is the natural love, like the love for your father, mother, or love for your wife. And then there is the love of religion and the love of wala and bara, the love that you want someone to win and be victorious. And this should be for Muslims only, to people being victorious and to win and to be ally with. This should be for Muslims. The natural love for a wife or for a family member is accepted. And that's why Allah said to the Prophet ﷺ, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ, you do not guide the ones you love, referring to his uncle. And he was a disbeliever. But this is the natural love of a family member, right? But the love of love for religion should be only be for Muslims. So you should hate the fact that they are on disbelief, and you should hate the disbelief that they are upon. That's a stretch, pad. Meeting me is not like meeting the prime minister. It's not more difficult, you know. It's much easier. Or maybe I'm hiding, but he's hiding more, I'm sure. Allah, maybe inshallah one day we meet. If it's written we meet, we will meet, brother. Inshallah. What should someone want to see? Which subject books should we go through if they don't have it? Start with the Quran, read Tafsir Sa'di, and then you can move on into the Hadith or the Seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. But start with the Quran and Tafsir. That's why you should start. And you don't have means to travel, you can learn and benefit from whatever is available online from trusted sources. Assalamu alaikum. Are wearing pants below ankle sin a major sin, minor or major? Well, I take the opinion that this is permissible, and some ulama, they say it's makruh. But the majority of the four schools of thought, they say this is not haram. And this opinion is the opinion of Imam al-Shafi'i, is the opinion of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, is the opinion of Ishaq ibn Rahaway, is the opinion of many of the Salaf, right? But there are a select group of scholars in Saudi, like Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen and Sheikh ibn Baz, in which certain groups of people follow them. They only repeat their opinions. They are of the opinion that it's haram, which is okay. Of course, it's a respectable opinion for major scholars. But that doesn't mean this is the majority. Majority of the ulama of the four madahib, they view that this is action. If it's not done out of arrogance, this is the thing. It's not done. This is the criteria because of the hadith of Abu Bakr. If it's not done out of pride and arrogance, then it is permissible. It can be done. Obviously, avoiding it is better, is best. There's no doubt that avoiding it is best. But to claim it's haram is the position I do not take. Personally, I do not take, based on the hadith and the salaf that I mentioned. أقسمت أني سأتركه ذنبا not ذنبا, you know. وإذا فعل okay. Yeah, I don't know, brother. I cannot help you there. I'd prefer not to give an answer to that question. What are the practical ways to increase iman? Good deeds, reading the Quran, making dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. These are the practical ways. Learning more about your deen and the evidences. Sorry, I skipped my super chat. Barakallah fiqh. Where's your super chat I skipped? I don't think I skipped anything. I don't think you're just patient enough. You have to be patient enough to see it. Also, there's many of them, and I'm going a bit by bit. Can you do your shahada on your own, or do you need to go to a local mosque? You don't need to go to a local mosque. You can do it on your own. But obviously, if someone tells you how to say it, it's better so you say it correctly. But even if you say it in English or your language, it's still acceptable. And if you do it alone, it's also acceptable. Allah Azza wa Jal is witness. إذا وقع الذباب في شرب أحدكم فليعمل ثم ينزل كان Oh, okay. This is the hadith about wigs, yeah. The way you said it is like complete. Okay, so you're saying science for it? Probably email me or something like that. I think there should be some study somewhere, but I don't know if it's probably done by Muslims or something like that because I don't think non-Muslims would be engaging in that. But yeah, you just email me. I'm sure I can send you something on that if I remember, inshallah. If I travel to another city, come back home the same day. Travel 200 miles to another city. No, once you come back, you're no longer a traveler. When you travel from your city to the other city, on the way, and when you reach there, you're a traveler, so you can shorten your prayers and do everything. The minute you come back again to your house, to your home, you can no longer now shorten or do anything else. Jazakallah khair. Okay. Can you explain the difference between different Quran letters and recitation and what's the difference? That's a long story, brother. It's a long story. There are the different ahruf are different dialects of the Arabs, and those dialects of the Arabs. First, the dialect of Quraysh was revealed, then other dialects, and when these other dialects were revealed, Allah also revealed some unique words that are close in meaning. And then when the Sahaba took the Quran, there was a mixture of taken from these different ahruf that produced in the qira'at, in the 10 qira'at that we have. So this is a very detailed issue. So I'm just giving you a very basic understanding, but it's a detailed issue, basically. It's not for the lay public, if I would say. Is it allowed to? If you read Arabic language, if you can read the Arabic, I'll tell you to go to the introduction of Al-Nashr في القراءات العشر by Ibn al-Jazari. The 150 pages that he has in the beginning, I think anyone essentially who speaks Arabic language who needs to understand علوم القراءات, he needs to understand these 150 pages. They are like, they should be written in gold, basically. So if you understand the Arabic language and read that, you will understand everything. Is it allowed to listen to the Quran when working out in the gym? Yes. There is music. Well, if the Quran is in your ears, you cannot hear the music, then you can listen to the Quran. What is the problem? Where is the evidence that this is not permissible? My wife has fast and make them up last year, but now is pregnant. Yeah, she has to make up any fasts that she can make up. She has to make up that she didn't fast because of sickness or anything like that. Yeah, approach it from the heart, inshallah, brother. And you're welcome to come anytime if you want to accept Islam. Yani, we welcome you, brother Steve. Can you do mash over cotton socks for wudu, or does it have to be leather? No, it doesn't have to be leather. That's the opinion I take because there are multiple narrations from the Sahaba doing it. Mutawatir number of narrations from the Sahaba doing it. And you can also do qiyas on khuffayn. Assalamu alaikum, brother. My family is kind of telling me to buy a house in Canada through interest-based mortgage, and my family is not practicing. Afraid that if I say no, my relationship with them will be affected. Please advise, brother. Wallahi, brother, your relationship with Allah is more important, or your relationship with your family? And if the answer to that question is your relationship with Allah is more important, then if you don't want to wage war against Allah and His Messenger, just because your family will feel some type of way, then yeah, avoid war with Allah and His Messenger. But if you want to have war with Allah and His Messenger, because your family feels some type of way and have some feelings, then it's up to you. This is my advice, brother, is to put Allah Azza wa Jal before anyone else, and obviously be respectful with your family. But your family is not going to stand before Allah. You will stand before Allah to account for your own deeds. Can you explain number, hadith number, this, and that? You have to put the hadith so I can explain it. Numbers don't work. Which tafsir of the Prophet tafsir of the Prophet? You mean tafsir of the Quran? Tafsir al-Sa'di, Alsaadi. Available in English and Arabic, and you can purchase online. Uh, no, you're not rude. Don't worry. I'm just responding to what you said. Dreads haram, West African male. I cannot say they're haram. I cannot say this is something haram. A non-Muslim asked me about the story in the Quran about Musa and Samari. He said Samari came after Moses. So I will tell him we don't care about your opinion. The Quran says a specific way, and being Samarian, anyways, is like come from a specific land or have a specific race. So he would be referring to someone called Samarian that we're referring to a completely different person, you know. So it's just ridiculous how we even care about his logic. Like we don't care. Can I recite more than one surah after Surah Al-Fatiha? I got my Can I recite one surah, more than one surah after Surah Al-Fatiha? Yeah, you can recite more than one surah. If you mean after you finish Surah Al-Fatiha in the first rak'ah, for example, you recite Surah Al-Fil, then you recite Surah Al-Masad. Yeah, it's fine. You can recite multiple surahs. Yeah. Allah says, فَقْرَأُوا مَا تَيَسَّرَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. Read that which is in your capacity. Like you can read as much as you can. No problem. And if you think about the Taraweeh, multiple chapters are being recited in Taraweeh if you pray Taraweeh in the masjid, like when you reach the shorter surahs. Is hijrah from disbelieving land to Muslim land mandatory? Well, it depends on your situation. It depends in that land. It depends on which Muslim land you're referring to, which land, the other land that you want to migrate from, and your personal situation. There's no black and white answer for this question. Assalamu alaikum. I had question. Multiple universes. It means master of everything other than Allah. Go to the first tafsir class in which I explain Surah Al-Fatiha to get the full explanation. What are the main issues with Ash'ari creed? Oh, there are many, too many to count. The first is putting the intellect over the text. Like they don't accept hadith and aqidah unless that hadith is mutawatir. So 85 or 85% of that hadith are not mutawatir. They don't accept it in aqidah. They accept only mutawatir. And that mutawatir, if it opposes their own beliefs, then they deviate and change its meanings. So they put their intellect over the text. And based on that, they deviate in Allah's names and attributes. They don't affirm them. They change their meanings. And they completely deviate in other things in aqidah as a consequence of that, like qadr and multiple other different things, aspects, right? But their main issue is the idea of putting the intellect over the text because they wanted to prove the existence of the universe. There was something called Dalil al-A'rad wa Huduth al-Ajsam, and this evidence of them made them deny Allah's names and attributes and deny many of the hadith and change just to please the atheist, you know? This idea, this disease that we still have today, people changing the rules of Islam because they're not pleasurable to the audience listening to them, you know. So yeah, there are many. Look, this I can maybe stay for 5-6 hours now explaining to you the problems with the creed. The main problem is it doesn't trace to the companions or the Prophet or Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It traces to the Mu'tazila and the Jahmiyyah, which were the deviant sects that denied the names of and attributes of Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Could you explain the punishment in the grave? How do you want me to explain the punishment in the grave, brother? There's many types of punishment. First, there is the grave being tightened on you. There is the opening of the doors of hellfire and the heat coming. There's different types of punishments for specific types of sins. There are many hadith on that. This is not just something I can. So this needs a full lecture if you want, which you can check on Al-Madrasa Al-Umariyya on YouTube. I'm sure they probably would have something on the punishment of the grave if you need specific details. Yeah. If you search Al-Madrasa Al-Umariyya. A college of mine is Shia and I respond with salam. Wallah, it depends on which type of Shia he is. Yeah, you can respond with salam. If he's someone who doesn't call upon the graves and this and that, you can respond, inshallah, no problem. Can a Muslim man or woman paint their hair? Can a Muslim man or a woman, I'm sure you mean, paint their hair or be black? Well, it's an issue of disagreement because there's a hadith that prohibits the color black. So it's an issue of disagreement, and it is definitely better not to do that. We usually hand out to people when I'll given down maybe the table set of video. It's the Quran and basic leaflets. It's nothing important. Quran is what matters. Verily Allah will His me time. Verily Allah will nation. Yeah, where is the Jama'ah? Jama'ah is everyone agreeing. Who said that everyone is Ash'ari? Like, just go ask the lay people in the street. This that does not benefit them in any way. If you want to take this narration, which this wording that you said is not authentic, anyways. But yeah, who cares what they say and what they don't say? What matters is do their beliefs fit with the Quran and Sunnah or not? Quran explicitly says if you disagree upon something, return it to the Quran and Sunnah. Do they believe the same things the Sahaba believed? Do they believe in the verses of the Quran? If the answer is no, then it's irrelevant what arguments they use. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Would you recommend a new Muslim to learn Islam because of become student? What books and resources? I already mentioned the Quran, Tafsir al-Sa'di is where you should start. For anything else, memorizing as much of the Quran and reading is Tafsir. Assalamu alaikum, akhi. Is it haram to shoot a hog knowing that non-Muslims will eat it, even if I do it to protect the farmer's land? What is a hog again? Yeah, I need to check what that hog is, like, okay. What is a hog? What is a pig? You can kill pigs, yeah, no problem, absolutely. No issues if it's a pig. From what I see from the pictures, then yeah, what is the problem? Oh, you're saying knowing that non-Muslims will eat it, yeah? Is it haram to shoot a hog knowing that non-Muslims will eat it, even if I do it to protect farmers' land? Well, I don't think you should do that. No, I don't think I don't think you should do that at all, because this is problematic from many ways. You should not do that. I do not believe this is correct. If a credit card is utilized just like a debit card, only spending money, no, because the conditions of the credit card still apply. What is Islam saying about asking praying for martyrdom? Well, and martyrdom for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal is it's one of the highest things that a person can do, done within the Islamic framework and Islamic explanation, not like some crazy individuals. What is the ruling on eating meat every day? Does it count as excessive and come under makruh? It's fine, akhi. Come on, like, this is not one of the things that, like, you need to be making arguments and this and that and Allah understand. You're able to eat meat every day, say alhamdulillah. If you're able to eat meat, I don't know how you can eat meat every day, but if you're able to, khalas. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you don't eat, brother. Treasury bills riba is lending money to the government for development. Again, you're not given an explanation. I do not know exactly what these things are, so I cannot tell you they're permissible or not. I need to read all the details regarding them. What would you advise to study after the Quran? Well, after you finish the Quran, you can study a basic book of hadith, like explanation of Al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyya or Bulugh al-Maram, or these specific books, Riyadh al-Salihin, etc. And then, and then you can read the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ as well. But start with the first thing first. All of you, or most of you, talk too much and then send message. Oh, brother, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you give the book. They never finish reading it. They never finish reading the tafsir of the Quran. It's easy to, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Well, finish the first step and then come back to me, and then I'll tell you the next step. Because this is the reality of most people, especially this generation. They're not able to actually commit and to have discipline and to actually read and spend time researching and learning. This is the fact. Is making pilgrimage to Muslim country obligatory? Again, the same question I said to the person in the beginning of the stream. You can go back where he asked, is migration obligation or not? I mentioned it depends on the country you're going from, the country you're going to, and your situation. Is no black and white answer. Have you read the book of Imam al-Juwayni? No, and I don't call him an imam, and I've not read his books. Which book are you referring to first? So I can tell you I have read it or have not read it, because I have read from his work, there's no doubt. But I've read the amount of misguidance there. So it all depends on which book are you reading. I've not read all of his books. Yeah, definitely not. I don't need to read all of his books. So if you check what he says, for example, Al Irshad is one of the books that I've other than Al Irshad as well. Mostly all of his books, anyways, are about kalam and aqidah and this and that. Nothing necessarily I would say has much benefit. But I don't. You shouldn't be asking me about individuals, anyways. What matters is uh, what matters is the Quran and the Sunnah, and whether the people were in given the same beliefs as the Sahaba or not. That's what matters. What is the right way to marry according to Islam? Get someone to know and tell nikah. Well, there's many ways, brother, which are permissible. But yeah, you find someone that you want, that you're interested in marrying. How do you find? There's many ways, like through the masjid, through the community, through people you know. These many multiple ways that a person can find. And then once you find the individuals, you sit down with them, and then you speak about. You see, you have commonalities. There's a attraction. There is a wali present, not necessarily in the conversation, but around. And then you speak to the individual, and they speak to you, ask your questions. You see whether you agree. You're not sure yet. You can sit down for multiple different times. There's no specific amount of time you can sit down for until you're sure or you're not sure. If you feel like you're sure, then okay, you pray istikhara, and then you say that you're interested. If the other person is also interested, then marriage takes place. So so it's just a basic way of answering you. Are they around us or a different world? They can see us from where we cannot see them. That's what the Quran says. Other than that, I cannot tell you because I do not know. Quran doesn't mention. Can you have whatever you desire in Jannah? No, you cannot desire things which are explicitly prohibited and haram. You cannot desire these things in Jannah. And you're only going to desire good things in Jannah anyways. If you enter Jannah, then the only thing you will desire will be something which is good. You cannot desire anything haram or bad. Any Islamic concerns on law school in the West? My advice is not to go to law school. It's my advice. I would never do it if or advise any family member to do it. But why don't you debate with the TikTok? Okay, because I'm not wasting my time. And if you're coming here to promote for worthless individuals, you do not get screen time. I wonder. Of course, they don't have support from hadith. Prophet ﷺ, he said, who kills a mu'ahid, person you have a treaty with, like the ones you do with your passport, he's not going to even smell the fragrance of paradise. How is that supported by hadith? Are video games around superheroes haram? What do you mean around superheroes? And I cannot tell you if video games are haram or halal. It depends on the game. That game can have things which are haram in it. The game is not necessarily by itself haram, but it can have haram things like music, women not dressed properly. All of these things can be present within the game. It doesn't mean the game itself is haram. It depends on the game as well, obviously. Assalamu alaikum. What is the exact ruling on tattoos? It's haram, completely haram. In fact, it's a major sin. And if someone does it, he's cursed by Allah Azza wa Jal. It means he's outside of the mercy of Allah. To that extent, basically. This means the first to submit among your people. Just like me saying, I will be the first one to pass the exam. That does not mean in the entire human history I was the first person to pass my exam. It just means that I will be the first person to do the action. I'll be the quickest person towards taking the action. That's what it means. What to do when you make a mistake in tahajjud? If you're reciting alone and you do not know you make a mistake, then how are you going to get corrected if you do not know? And if you know, then you correct yourself. Simple. Darussalam UK, a good site to buy books. I do not know them personally. I read in the Arabic, brother, not in other languages. Is it haram to use live bait when fishing? No, you can use it, no problem. Absolutely permissible, no issues. Assalamu alaikum. Can women pray in public? Meaning men see them praying, for instance, women in a workplace don't have a private place. Well, the thing is this: the hadith says that a woman praying in in a place, a hidden place, is better for her praying in her own room and her own place. The more hidden it is, the better it is. So, and the more public it is, the worse it is. It's not haram, but it should be avoided on only cases of necessity. If there is men around, only cases of necessity, this should take place. And I don't think this is you can always pray in a place in which you're prostrating towards the people, instead of them being behind you. So yeah, these things should be looked out for. It's only a case of necessity, and you should try your best to be, maybe people are not behind you when you're prostrate. Why is that important? Also, one thing here, for instance, women in my workplace, where women shouldn't be in the workplace, they should be home, isn't it? What are they doing in the workplace to begin with? This should be the question asked, right? Why are these women in the workplace mingling with other men? Allah musta'an. Okay. Why is the importance of the land Islamically? Palestine, are you asking, or why is this PS? The importance is the Masjid al-Aqsa is there. Is the importance. The importance is this is the first qibla of the Muslims is Masjid al-Aqsa. There's a number of rewards if you pray in that masjid. All of these things. Jazakumullah khair, brother. How are you guys? Inshallah, you're all doing well as well. Happy to see you in the comments. Okay. Is it possible to do an Umrah with you? No, I don't think that's possible. Unless we happen to be there at the same time. هل الذهاب إلى بلد إنجلترا كنت فيها كمواطن غير شرعي في شيء حتى ولو الدخول الشرعي للهروب من فرنسا الثاني الذي أصبح الانتقال يعني this is a difficult thing, brother. I honestly do not know what to tell you, because I do not know whether a person is legal in that first country or not. And then moving from one situation to another for embetterment and avoiding harm this is a very specific thing that I would rather not to give an answer for. Which translation, Sira, do you recommend? Yeah, the one by Mahdi Rizq Allah. It's called Biography of the Prophet Muhammad. And I've seen brother Farid recommend it as well. It seems like a good Sira book. نصيحة لتثبيت القرآن لمن حفظ. Revision. Continuous revision is how you can keep the Quran in your mind. That's what this is the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, "Ta'ahadu al-Quran." You have to keep revising it. What should a Muslim do while a kafir country no Muslim he doesn't like country being married? How is he going to do anything when he is dead? What he should do is he should make the arrangements for that not to take place. Either there is Muslim family members there, someone who writing a specific will, or where you should be buried, because these countries follow the wills. So you should take the means for that not to happen. But once you're dead, you're dead. What are you going to do? Should we not engage with people like them? People like who? You did not say anything about people like who. والله الشيخ ملتزم بالعلوم الشرعية والقرآن في عمر 18 انتقل إلى الغرب ماذا نصيحة يبقى في حب الدعوة ونصرة الدين في قلبه. والله هو كان يطلب النصح قبل الذهاب إلى الغرب وليس بعد الذهاب إلى الغرب. يعني من أراد النصح طلبه قبل الفعل وليس بعد الفعل. يعني الله المستعان. السلام عليكم. Love the work you are doing. جزاك الله خير. What is the ruling on slightly trimming the way to make it look? I answered that many times. You should go back to my previous live streams. Assalamu alaikum, brother. I'm a physical. I mentioned multiple times that the beard is that which grows on the bones that have the teeth bones, and you can only trim if you hold it and it comes out there more than the fist. If it's more than the fist, you can trim that which is that which is more than the fist. And if a hair is going here or there, or you can take one or two hairs going here or there, you can cut this hair, no problem. But that doesn't mean an actual cutting the whole thing from the left and right and this and that. No, it's not permissible. Is it halal if I buy an apartment building to rent it? Yeah, if you buy a building and you rent it, where's the problem? It's permissible as long as you buy it in halal way, and yeah, there's no issues. Jazakallah khair. Gear, okay. Jazakumullah khair, okay. No problem. How do we know we are in the right section, sect? Well, the hadith itself, if you accept the hadith is authentic, the hadith told you what the Prophet ﷺ was upon and his companions. So you check, do you believe the same things the companions believe in the Quran and the righteous predecessors, or do you believe differently based on your mind and desires? Why do Allah allow Hajj to be so expensive? Why do you have to go around the Kaaba in circles? What is this dumb, with all due respect, dumb questions? Allah allow it to be so expensive. Allah told you that if you're not able to do Hajj, it's not an obligation for you. So what are you complaining about? Like, this is a disrespectful way of asking a question towards Allah, not towards me. But this wording is disrespectful, honestly, and bowing around the stone and this. I don't. Are you a Muslim or no? I'm not sure what you are, to be honest. But yeah, we obey the commands of Allah because Allah is our creator. And He told you if you don't have enough means to go to Hajj, no one told you you have to go to Hajj. Allah says, "Man istata'a ilayhi sabila." Whoever is capable to go. Simple. So you're complaining that Allah is giving you the option. If you don't have money, don't know. What is there to complain about? Brother, please read questions out fully. Some are listing podcast style miss out on some. I read the questions for you, brother. Just like I read yours right now, your statement. So brother, I'm curious how to finance medical school. How to finance? I don't understand your question. By how to finance medical school. Brother, what Quran translation do you recommend? Sahih International. Sahih International. Allahu A'lam. I do not know whether it's specifically about this conflict or a different conflict. This is something is disagreed upon, anyways. Whether this verse applies, the context of the verses, whether some of these verses apply to the children of Israel or the Muslims as well. This is another issue of disagreement. How to be close? You don't be with a close classmate with an ace. I don't even know what you mean by that. How to be? Okay, so a video where a Christian says in the Quran, the Prophet yeah, the verse that says the verse that you're referring to, it says ما أنذر آباؤهم, right? قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم, that you warn people ما أنذر آباؤهم. ما أنذر آباؤهم here means the same thing that their forefathers were warned. It does not mean that their forefathers were not warned. So if this is the specific verse that you're referring to, لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم. So you warn a people ما أنذر آباؤهم. ما here is not for negation, is not for nafi. Ma here is just saying that you're going to warn them the same thing that their forefathers were warned. So if this is the verse that you're referring to, that's the answer to it. So didn't prophets clearly say that the woman, not man, who gives the Jesus Christ? If it's haram for women, it's by nature more haram for the man. So if it is haram for a woman and women are asked to beautify themselves, and they're more likely to be allowed to beautify themselves, just like the ear piercings and all of these different things, and it is haram for them, then it is more haram for a man. Why didn't the Prophet ﷺ return? And you asked the question, I give you the answer. You want to do something else, just to try to apply your reasoning to disobey the commands of Allah, then there's no point of asking me the question. Why did Prophet Muhammad ﷺ return to any Muslim converts? There was a necessity for it, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. Allah commanded him, and he followed the command of Allah. The treaty terms was based on Allah's wisdom, and you can see that the treaty was successful because the Muslims gained strength and power because of that treaty. So you can see the outcomes of it. Team is working in the Quran. This project. No problem. I know the Quran states, may Allah give you barakah and make it easy for you. I know the Quran says the woman should cover. The Quran mentions the woman should cover their head. Why do you need a hadith that mentions that? And there's a hadith where Aisha says that they cut the part of their body and they covered up with using it. Well, why do you need a hadith where the Quran explicitly mentions it? A khimar is that which covers the head by definition. وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ. It cannot be more clear than this. Why do you need to find a specific hadith for it? Please, brother, help me. Can you marry a wife you had divorced 3 times while she was a Christian and now became Muslim? No, if you divorce a woman 3 times, then she needs to marry someone else. Engaging with the ones I promoted by mistake. You don't engage with them. Why do you need to engage with them? Why do you need to engage with them? Why do you? I want to understand why is it a necessary thing to engage with them? Those people barely have anyone who watches them. They come to streams like mine or streams like other Muslims because they know they have nothing to preach. They can only preach hate. They can only preach against Islam. We, alhamdulillah, have so many things to preach, to say to the people, and to give them the guidance of Allah Azza wa Jal, like this tafsir class or this Q&A. We don't need to rely on other religions, We don't need to spread hate day and night. Why do we need to engage with them to begin with? Engaging with them is just giving the publicity, fame, introducing them to Muslims, and introducing their doubts to Muslims is the most ignorant thing you could do, especially when they're barely known. Is it haram of a physical therapist to touch a woman while I'm helping them recover from injury? You skipped me before by mistake. I don't know, brother. I'm trying to read everything. I'm not sure if I skipped you or not, but is it haram as a physical therapist to touch a woman? I don't know what to tell you, brother. You can have an assistant, which is a woman that can touch them in the way that helps it. You don't need to be doing that yourself. And yeah, that's what I would tell you. Going through the seerah, I have a question about what we can learn about Abu Talib not experience. Yeah, we can learn that guidance is only from Allah Azza wa Jal. That's the most important thing. And that some people can take the pride of how other people in their community views them over what is true. Jazakallah khair. This is the third time I'm asked this question about hijrah, and I will answer the same thing. It depends on your situation. It depends on which country you're going to and which country you're moving from, and the reasons you're moving. It's just like black and white. And I don't know how so many people asking about hijrah today. Can women work in Islam and we can firework? Can women work? Of course, they can work with the Islamic conditions. They're not free mixing with other men. They're not doing anything haram, and all of these things. Can you light out a firework? Well, it's an action of safaha, action of someone who has a light, doesn't have that much intellect, because you're just burning your money. That's what you're doing, basically. If I take the note and burn it, there's no difference, really. This one is just more shiny. Like, you'd rather spend your money in something more beneficial. Can you please do a video discussing the two opinions? I don't need to. It's an issue of disagreement. And my personal opinion is irrelevant. I'm not someone who's like scholar or people are going to come and, they take my opinion and this and that. The ulama have already spoken and are different views regarding that. I mentioned my view before, and that's it. Don't need to go into details. And I mentioned why I believe one view is stronger as well. Apologies for the first question. Inshallah, Jazakumullah khair. I don't remember your first question. You don't need to apologize, by the way. Anyone who sends anything, no, you don't need to apologize, When I answer, I just answer generally, because I don't see you guys. Most of you don't have pictures, Just a general answers, So don't take it personally as well. Assalamu alaikum. How can I approach inviting my Christian friend who is a devout follower of the Bible to consider Islam as a close friend? Well, if you yourself are not educated properly in the Islamic foundations and you're not educated about their own religion as well, then you shouldn't be engaging in da'wah. You should give them a gift as a Quran, direct them towards videos that speaks about Islam and Christianity and these things. Yeah, just give them information, but it doesn't have to be you directly doing it if you do not have the skills. Some people say I answered that before, and I mentioned it before, and we said there was a Uzair, a story of Uzair, and him, either his story, the specific individual, or that he was called an angel, and the angels are called the sons of God in the Old Testament. There's nothing wrong there, basically. So I'm looking from Pakistan. My question is hadith about the killing of house. Um, I'm not sure what you're referring to. You all spend money to ask some silly questions. It's honestly true, brother. Honestly true. But what can we do? Are temporary tattoos haram? Any tattoos is haram, and stop trying to imitate the kuffar. Stop trying to destroy your own skin and putting some nonsense, ugly stuff on there. Like, ya akhi, why is people arguing too much about this tattoo thing? Allah has given you a good, beautiful skin, and this guy going putting some ink inside of it. Like, is this? Allah musta'an. For wife, entrance genital for thousand husband entrance. Well, the wife is going to be with her husband in Jannah. The wife is going to be with her husband in Jannah. If she enters Jannah, she will be with her husband. I made the classmate with an atheist that tried to guide him to Islam. Should I continue? No, distance yourself from him, especially if you're not a person of knowledge. Distance yourself. No need to guide anyone. You give them the Quran. You show them some, as I said, videos that talks about this or that. No problem. Direct them to people who can give them the da'wah. But you don't engage with them if they are having harmful effects on you. Okay. Islam is considered an Abrahamic religion. Why is God not called to the We don't consider it an Abrahamic religion. We believe Abraham was a Muslim. There's no such thing as Abrahamic religions. It's one religion that Abraham had, one religion that Moses had, and one religion that Jesus had, which is submission to the one true creator, which is what we call Islam. Islam is to submit to the one true God, Allah. Jesus submitted to Allah, and Moses did, and Abraham did. So there is no Abrahamic religions because Abraham had one religion. So it doesn't even make sense from a logical point of view. If someone can pretend to follow Abraham and believe in three gods, that doesn't mean he is Abrahamic in any way, shape, or form. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Jazakallah khair. Can you please share the reference to the hadith about the earth? It's there, brother. Just like, honestly, it's very easy to find. Yeah. If you just let me find it for you. Okay, 1 second. Okay, this one here. And then okay. Let me share the screen. Here, yeah. There's the reference. And there is the hadith, yeah. Okay. That's it. Okay. Next question. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Can you recommend sources how to conduct a nikah? Brother has requested me for his niece. I tried to share with it. I don't. No, don't do it if you're not someone who knows how to do it. Whether he insists or not, tell him this is. Don't ask me to do something that I'm not aware of, right? It's just like, oh, I insist you operate on my heart. You're not a cardiologist, but I insist you're the one who operates on my heart. This is not your field of expertise. You don't know what you're doing, so leave it for people who understand what they're doing. Do not engage in doing it yourself. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Any recommendation for courses or books where I can learn correct aqidah for non-Arabians? I don't know, brother, honestly. In English, it's always very difficult. But I always recommend the Madrasa al-Umariyah. They have some classes about aqidah in the English language. You're welcome to watch that. And they will teach you the correct aqidah if you watch their content and classes. And it's available in English, yeah? By Abdurrahman Hassan. Okay. What is the correct meaning of 7 earths? It is 7 earths, as the hadith mentions. What they are exactly in relation to the creation, we're not really sure. Is it halal to disconnect from family members? Yeah, you can disconnect and just keep in touch, but in a far away way. If they're affecting you negatively, it is permissible. If they're influencing you in a negative way. هل الإنسان الذي مسؤول عن ذريته من you will be asked, well, if you raised your direct children in the right way, this is what you're accountable for. You are accountable for your children. If you raise them the right way and they grew up the right way, then by default they will should be raising the children in the right way. And if they don't, then you cannot be accountable for that. You're accountable for those who you have authority over. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Your رعية is your direct family. Can you explain the ayah? Do not type the Quran in English letters. That's not permissible. That's haram by consensus. You shouldn't writing. This is not the Quran. What you're writing. You're reading. You this way you'll be reading English letters. So do not do this again because it's haram. Should only be written in the Uthmanic script, the Quran. And yeah, this verse says that you shouldn't be praising yourself. You shouldn't say, I'm good, I'm this, I'm that. Allah Azza wa Jal knows who truly has taqwa in his heart, because taqwa is within the heart of a person. So Allah knows who is good. And you shouldn't be praising yourself or boasting about your own actions. Are there differences between the woman's prayer and the man's prayer? No, no, same prayer. Only a very simple thing about, for example, alerting other people that the woman can instead of saying Allahu Akbar, she hits on her head like this, not claps like some people think, clap like this. No, she just makes some noise that she is praying basically. Maybe it is very minor. Other than that, not really. Like it's the same prayer, like the Prophet ﷺ prayed. Quran, this is the truth from your Lord on people. No one has come. I already answered that question. I already answered that question. Go back. I mentioned the answer to that specific verse in the Arabic language. The translations can be wrong. The first it's done for the yeah, it's done for the first one, yeah, for the 2 rak'ahs, yes. Let me see. And yeah, tell you to remind the Muslims is not is to not accept terms and words of the kuffar use a compromise and well, I mentioned it before, but yeah, there's no such thing. There's only one religion for Ibrahim alayhi salam. There's no such thing as Abrahamic religions. Okay, please stop sending any other super chats because we'll be ending now with whatever super chats have been sent because we need to finish now. Okay, when somebody, Sheikh al-Mufti. When is someone, an imam is someone who leads the prayer. Sheikh is usually in the Arabic language means someone who's older in age, anyways, and it has been used to signify that someone has knowledge. A mufti is someone who gives a fatwa, who gives a religious ruling for someone who asks him a question, but he does it as a job. That's why they give him that title, basically. If I'm praying regularly and put my trust in Allah, that's sufficient to protect me from black magic. Yeah, Allah is sufficient to protect you from anything, including black magic, of course. But if Allah wants to test you with magic, then it will happen to you. Everything happens under Allah Azza wa Jalla as well. My local masjid is 5 minutes away from me. Is it okay if I make wudu at home? Go to the masjid. Of course, you don't have to do wudu when you're there. It's just if you do wudu, also you don't have to do wudu 5 times. You know, if as long as you're on wudu, you can go and pray in the masjid straight away. There's no need to do wudu in the masjid, of course. Wudu is not, it has to be done on the masjid or home. Can be done anywhere. As long as you are in a state of purity, you can pray. My river friend of 10 years is asking me where and I say how to praise the now. Looking at detailed detailed answer. Go watch my 1 hour video that I have on my channel called "Dismantling Hadith Rejectors." Did you check that before telling me to give you a detailed answer? Go watch that 1 hour video, and then you should have, or send him the 1 hour video. If he's sincere and he watches the video from beginning to end, he shouldn't have any issues. I have a 1 hour video on my channel about that. As to do all of my struggle, what do you believe the issues contributing to this? What should we be doing? This is honestly, brother, and you coming in the end of the stream. This is a very long topic, you know. Yeah, I have had so many messages, and I've come across so many cases of women struggling with marriage, and they have the realization that they're struggling with marriage when it's too late. They're 29, 30, 35, 32, and then saying we're looking 31, and they're saying we're looking for a husband. And many of them mention the most ridiculous things. You know, I've had this degree and that degree and PhD and this and that. That's not going to help you find your husband. Your husband is not want to hear about your PhD. Are you a Muslim practicing sister that is within the age range that he's looking for or not? This is what he's going to be looking for. So they waste years on college and university and work, while the man is supposed to be the person providing. There's the issues from the men's side of not having providers, people who are not working and being providers for their women, and are actually happy with their women going working on their behalf, which are not even men. So we have this issue, and we have the issue of the women who want to go work, and I want to study and I want to have my own degree because they're entering marriage with the intention of divorce, anyways. They're saying, "Oh, what if I get divorced?" Like, if you get divorced, you should have family members to look after you. You know, well, are you like cut from a tree or something? Should be family members who would look after you, and then you can find another husband later on. But they spend years, and many of them learn useless things in universities that they never use to work. So the point I was making is because it is as difficult as ever, more difficult than ever to find the right spouse. You should look as early as possible instead of delaying years for university. And all of these women in university, not all of them, obviously, but many of them, if you talk to them about marriage, you'll say, no, I'm not ready. I'm finding myself. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm studying these years and that years. And they waste years upon years. And when they're done, okay, I spent now 4 or 5 years learning. Do you expect me to waste these years? No, I need to work as well. Of course, I need to work because I got the degree. I wasted years on it. So then you got all of these issues coming from other issues from, look, this is honestly a long topic, brother. Honestly, a long topic. Allah musta'an. And this is a big issue that we have. To what point can you completely disconnect? I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, as I said, no one should be sending anything else. Let's see how many of these left. Okay. Brother, can you elaborate the first one? Not been showing off. I'm gonna. Yeah, say and mentioning, if someone mentions something you have, you say, Alhamdulillah, I have this, Alhamdulillah. With the blessing of Allah, I've got this. This is not praising or showing off. Praising and showing off is to say that to attribute it to yourself, not to Allah. So the verse is talking about attributing the things to Allah, not to yourself. Yeah. And when people mention it, when people talk about it, you mention it. You mention Allah's name. But not every day you're saying, oh, Alhamdulillah, I have 100 houses. Alhamdulillah, I have 100 cars. You know, this is not like, this is not really speaking the ni'mah of Allah. This is, you're showing off, but you're trying to pretend as if you are thanking Allah for it. And it's all based on the intention. And Allah knows your intention. So recommendation for Islamic, I mentioned many times, AMAU, Al-Madrasa Al-Umariya. Academy, AMAU Academy, yeah. Non-Muslim, why is some revelation not in the Quran? Because the Quran, it's the source of compound revelation and guidance in which the Prophet ﷺ explains how to implement it in your life. Just like when you have a user manual and you have an individual that comes to explain to you how to use the user manual, right? So the Quran, if it had all of the details, it would be a massive, never-ending book because there are tens of thousands of hadith. No one would be reading it, really. So it is the most eloquent and most precise and eloquent wording in which you can extract benefits from through the hadith and the life of the Prophet, etc. How do you reconcile tasawir with photography? They're not the same thing. One is tasawir in the hadith is making something like Allah's creation, and photography is not making something like Allah's creation. It's just a reflection of light like a mirror or what your eye sees. Brother, can you give references about the translation of the Arabic? What references are you talking about? What Imam Malik said, for example, he reported that there's ijma' that it is not permissible to write the Quran in any other text other than the Uthmanic script, the Arabic language, because that is corrupting the Quran. Because people now who read these transliterations, what they end up doing is they pronounce English letters, and they think they're reading the Quran, but they're butchering the words of the Quran. Quran is taken from a teacher who teaches you the Arabic language, who reads it properly and corrects your pronunciation. Those people do from this book is end up like butchering the letters and words and think they're reciting the Quran. And people around them, oh, mashallah, mashallah, and this is for the preservation of the Quran. It should not be written in any other text. Do I need to hear myself reciting or moving my lips and tongue? You should move your tongue and lips, yes. Hear yourself, it depends on what is it if it's a secret prayer, then you don't need to hear yourself, but you need to there has to be sound if it's a loud prayer. Difference between Quran and Hadith Qudsi, that is not relevant and it's not going to benefit you. It's not beneficial knowledge for you. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, how to ask questions. This is the end of the stream. So next time, inshallah. Okay, خلاص, brothers and sisters, I'm going to end here, inshallah. Jazakum Allah khair for coming and asking your questions. Anything I said correct is from Allah, and anything I said wrong is from me and the shaitan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.